Hey guys, as much as I hate to make a video like this, we need to set some facts straight here. Um, if you remember my most recent video that I did about the trim restoration test, about the 2 week update, one product that failed, that they actually had two products in there. It was Black Wow and Black Wow Pro. Well, the owner had reached out to me and was very upset that his product failed after 2 weeks. And remember, I have no bias in this. I'm just putting the product on as instructed and going from there. So I'm going to read you his response, and we're going to go through it and explain why his response really, well, you be the judge. So he said that my Black Wow products, including Pro, were tested against 25 other trim products on a sheet of plastic and posted on YouTube. That's the first part. Okay, it's not a sheet of plastic. It's a Chevy Avalanche trim piece, which is the gold standard for basically what all other trim restoration is measured against. And you look in commercials, they use Chevy Avalanche trim. Well-known fact that it's terrible trim and it's easily restored with any of these products. As you saw from the beginning, all of this looked fantastic early on. Moving on, so he says, I've been getting a lot of messages from people warning me, saying that they were disappointed that it only lasted 2 weeks. It was subjected to a hurricane and lots of rain and environmental issues, as well as washing the panel. Well, yes, people do wash their panels. They wash their cars. And of course, we get rain. We're in Texas. We get rain. We get hurricanes. In addition, for the washing, we purposely waited 1 week until we did our first wash on the panel. So there is that. He continues and says that he divided the panel up into a series of squares and applied each product to them, and his sole purpose was to see how long each one would last, to answer the age-old question, how long does it last? That's correct. Everyone who makes any product knows that it's impossible to answer that question due to a variety of materials and environmental factors that exist, as well as application techniques. Okay, that's why we're doing this test. Application techniques, you put it on the panel, that's it. If you have to do something special, then this product should not be sold for retail consumer use. It should be professional only, which neither of your products are. So, continue on. Let's see. This test lumped together dye-based products, silicone-based products, ceramic and paint-based products in one single test. That's correct. They're all consumer purchased. You can buy them online. You can buy them in the big box stores. That's why we're doing this test. There's 7 products that have dyes. There's products that have silicones, polysiloxanes, solvents, and so on. So that is the purpose, as you guys are well aware. So continuing on, he says, the test even exclaimed how expensive my product is, yet it failed in 2 weeks, along with products of similar chemistry, with the ones surviving being the dyes or the coatings or the paint. Not exactly. Yes, your product is the most expensive in the test. We're very well aware of that. Okay, continuing on. He does not factor in usability, flexibility, how it works on different colored materials. Yes, we do. We have a gray panel and a black panel in there. And usability, flexibility, you put it on the trim and that's it. So what happens when it reaches the end of its life? Well, you be the judge. When it basically looks like all the other tape lines, when it's gray, you're done. For example, white new often turns gray before it fails, making replacement the only option. Well, it hasn't failed and it hasn't turned white yet, so we'll get to that when we see it. That will pass a longevity test, but in the long run, it makes a bad choice if replacement isn't an option. My Black Wow 4-ounce is only $30, and people buy a new one every 5 to 6 years. He could have bought the 2-ounce for $15 and done his test, and it wouldn't have been the most expensive product. It's not. Your product is $70, and the other one is $30 or $35, something like that. My products have been on the market for the past 13 years, and people that know it, use it, and know how well it works. Great. I don't really care. This test is my test, my viewers, and I'm doing it my way. My product originally created for Mini and BMW plastics. All right, put that on your bottle. If it says for BMW or Mini plastics, not for General Motors trim, something like that. But you know what? You don't have that on there. Hondas and Porsches are similar, as well as Volvo and Jeeps. That's great. Put it on your packaging. Hondas and Porsches, similar to Volvo, Jeeps. Okay, hard plastic grills aren't the best for longevity because they don't absorb well. Okay, again, that's great. We're not putting it on a grill. We're putting it on General Motors trim piece on their bed panel, which, again, Chevy Avalanche is well known for. Chevy plastics are among the hardest to last a long time unless you dye or ceramic coat them. Okay, again, put it on your product that says do not use it on GM trim. We're using all of these products on one piece of GM trim, one black and one gray. That's it. So if your product doesn't perform well on that, say, okay, don't put it on GM trim, but don't blame me because your product isn't performing up to standards. So he said, that's my take on it. So either believe this test and buy what he recommends or listen to the thousands of customers that have been using my product. Well, I'm not recommending anything. I do the test, you be the judge. That's the whole point of all of my videos that I do. Said, no bias. I have nothing against your product. I'm here to report. I spend my own money. I'm not bought and paid for like so many of these reviewers out there. So keep that in mind when you make statements like this. So in conclusion, basically my point that I'm getting at is don't be upset at me if your product fails on my test. This is subject to our weather conditions, our humidity, hurricanes. The panels that I have, that's the reason I have two different panels. And you've noticed in these tests that there are some that have worked on one and not on the other. That's the reason I have two panels. I'm not going to do a Avalanche panel and a Mini panel. This is all on one panel so you can see everything side by side. So if you have a problem with that, go do your own test. These are my tests, my viewers, my money. So there it is.